Hey, and welcome back to On the Chain. This is Jeff. You are here on the HODL review. Today, we are going to talk about Chris Larsen, BTC, and China controlling 65% of the mining of Bitcoin. Which one's the banker's coin? Which one's completely centralized and controlled? Is it XRP or is it Bitcoin? I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about right now.
And now, the HODL review with Jeff on the chain.
Bam. All right, we are back. We are back. Here we are. All right. Just kidding. So this is Jeff. Again, you're here on the chain, the HODL review. Hey, if you like today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't like it, thumbs down. Leave some comments below. And as always, if you're brand new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. It's right down there. And then you can hit the bell notifier and we'll notify you every single time we post an amazing video. We are on a roll. If you love On the Chain, we have two channels, this one and the other one. So, hey, you know what? Let's get into it. So this was crazy, right? Over the past couple days, there have been article after article after article discussing Chris Larsen. And Chris Larsen came out and said that not only is the majority of Bitcoin mining under the control of China, but because of that, China can actually reverse the Bitcoin transactions. Now, it's funny because the Bitcoin maxis, what did Bitcoin maxis say? XRP was the banker's coin. Well, it looks like Bitcoin might be China's coin. I don't know. That's interesting, right? So if we look at this in perspective and everything that's really happening, so Forbes talked about it, The Hill talked about it, You Today talked about it. I mean, it was all over the place. All the different blogs talked about it. But I thought it was really interesting because there were some really important, concepts that were brought out. And one of the points is that if 65% of the mining of Bitcoin is in China, then that means that if the Chinese government, which they kind of do, if they're able to control the Bitcoin flow, if they can control the flow of the Bitcoin through the mining, what does that mean for the entire space? How do other governments or how do corporations then embrace Bitcoin? Now, one of the things that we talked about on my live stream yesterday was that over the past year, $50 billion worth of cryptocurrency moved out of China. So we have 50 billion moving out, and we have the potential of the Chinese government taking over the mining operations within China, then controlling 65% of the Bitcoin. Probably not a great thing. Now, as you look at Ripple and XRP, now Ripple as its own entity with the RippleNet software tapping into to support banking and the movement of money cross borders, a really, really important objective, a really important business initiative to take on SWIFT, which has been around since 1974. Now with Bitcoin, what was the use case again? That it's now really geared up as a store of value. It's not really a transactional currency, even if you make it less expensive. But how do you get over the fact that the centralized control over Bitcoin is now in China? Now, if you have the majority of the mining operation impacting Bitcoin, can they manipulate it? Can they actually reverse transactions? Can they potentially destroy Bitcoin? I don't know. It's interesting because now you have a lot of conversation over what's going on with TikTok. What's going on with the government takeover of Alibaba, Alipay. So the Chinese government's really meddling in a lot of affairs. Hong Kong is another good example of the Chinese government meddling in the affairs because China, obviously Hong Kong belongs to China, but we see a ratcheting of control over even the legacy financial systems over there. So I think this is really important for us to look at. Now, again, if we look at some of the other in the altcoin space, altcoins, many of them are kind of in a decentralized nature. XRP is decentralized from the perspective that the majority of the validators are not controlled by one entity. So at one point in the beginning, yes, maybe Ripple did control a majority of the validator, but at this point, that's not true. Although they do hold a significant amount of XRP in escrow, they do not have access to all of that XRP that is held in escrow, and they only have one. They have 1 billion that's released every single month. So, when it's released, they can use some, they can put it back, but they have to constantly roll it over based on the rules that are dictated, for what they're doing within that escrow space. Now, even if they pull out 1 billion, they get 1 billion every single month. So how then can you influence or impact the market? Whereas with the Bitcoin mining, they impact 65%, directly influence on a regular basis the mining operation that's going on, and potentially even then the hash rate. It's kind of crazy, and I could be wrong on the hash rate, but to me it seems like if you control 65% of the mining operation, then yes, you can somewhat dictate the outcomes. So take it as you may. Maybe you have different opinions on this. Maybe we need to continue this conversation further. But I think it would be really important for you guys to leave some comments below on this subject. Now, if we take it one step further, and then we'll sign off. But China, through their Belt and Road Initiative, is really trying to find a mechanism to get regional influence and global influence, some of it to circumvent some of the financial blockades that are being put in place by other members of the global body. And it's not just the U.S., because you're seeing coming from the EU, especially as it pertains to like Iran and North Korea and some of these other countries, that China has a direct objective to try to get around. So if we know that China, as a communist controlled entity, is trying to circumvent, let's say, the norms of the financial space or the norms of the international world, the international bodies, government bodies, then why wouldn't they then also find a mechanism to then control Bitcoin? And how does that impact the rest of the communities? If the United States knows, or the government knows, or the corporations know, or the banks know that China has a 65% control of all the mining operation, how does that impact their decision-making process in the utility of Bitcoin? In the rollout of Bitcoin in a mainstream way. Now, up until this point, the U.S. regulators have really only commented on 2 primary digital assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that again is now controlled primarily by China. So how does this influence? What does the world body do? What do the Bitcoin maxis do? What does the crypto space in general do? Because many of us hold Bitcoin in the space, not just Bitcoin maxis, but it does have an impact, and not just Bitcoin and altcoin, because where Bitcoin goes, altcoins go. So we definitely need some solution. I would love to hear more comments. Again, this is Jeff. You guys are here with me. Guess what? On the chain, here on the HODL Review, and I am, where's this outro? We're going to play it right now.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.